count on the feet and also using those long limbs. And a huge left hook! This could be over!
Well, Pimblett is scrambling for position here, but what a left hook from Stephen Martin.
Hello Pro Strikers, Paddy Pimblett has taken some criticism for his stand-up fighting skills, so let's take a closer look as to why that might be. Paddy is better known for his grappling prowess, scoring several slick submission wins throughout his career, but to be a top contender in the UFC's lightweight division, you must be somewhat proficient on the feet. Khabib dropped Conor McGregor with a right hand.
Big left hand and a knee and an elbow from Pimblett.
Oh, a huge elbow!
Wow, he has cut him.
Paddy's striking can be a bit of a mess. He is naturally an orthodox fighter, but will spend a lot of time in southpaw stance, particularly against other orthodox fighters. This allows him to throw a power kick into the open side of their stance, and Paddy has a very good left kick. His kicking technique is great, particularly on the roundhouse kick. He turns his knee over, pivots the foot on the standing leg, gets good range, covers his chin, and overall has pretty good shape and techers when he lets it go. He can sometimes kick a little bit on top of himself, getting too close to the opponent, particularly with his front kick, but he will add in his own funk, like a kick into punch adjustment that we see here against veteran Tony Ferguson. It might not look pretty, but it's a good on-the-fly adaptation to what's happening. I like his use of the calf kick, especially with Paddy going to his left kick frequently, as it gives him two sides to work. The calf kick has proven to be particularly effective in modern MMA, as it doesn't require a lot of skill or flexibility to execute, unlike say a question mark kick. Something that becomes apparent pretty quickly when watching Paddy striking is his reactions to boxing just aren't good. Here we see Tony gain a very deep entry with his lead foot stepping in between Pimblett's stance. Then going to throw a combination, a fighter will need to step inside of their opponent's stance, as this brings their power side closer to the opponent. Pimblett chooses to jab as Tony steps in and he pendulums his feet away, but as he jabs he sticks his chin right up into the air. When jabbing, you'd want to tuck the chin behind the lead shoulder as a second line of defence if the punch gets beat. Here we see Tony taking his head off of the line to the inside of Paddy Pimblett's stance and bringing the overhand over the top of the jab. Because of Paddy's poor positioning, he gets clipped with the punch. Nobody likes being hit, but Paddy's instincts are to pull away and expose the target, which will only encourage the opponent to keep going after it. Something else I don't like from Paddy is his decision making when backed up to the fence. He chooses to fight his way off of the wall a little too often, putting himself at an immediate disadvantage as he has no more space to manoeuvre backward, and this can force him to make mistakes. Here we see him kick, landing his feet square after, before attempting a left hook that misses, leaving him in a really bad spot. He then has to turn away from Tony and literally run away. This is never a great look. It's simply down to Paddy leaving himself out of position after striking. When Paddy is in southpaw, I like the way he stands when he's looking to kick. He is tall with his lead arm extended, occupying the space in front of him, making it more difficult for the opponent to bridge the gap. Paddy looks ready to attack or defend at a moment's notice. When he's in orthodox stance, he just doesn't look comfortable when he wants to box. His hand position looks unnatural and his guard just isn't doing a whole lot. Basically, he's primed to be hit. He doesn't have much going with the lead hand to stop an aggressor from closing the distance, and he often lacks positional awareness. This then puts Paddy into fight or flight mode on 50-50 exchanges, which are no longer 50-50 if he's backed up to the cage wall. Paddy is game, aggressive and physical, so when he gets going he's a bit of a problem for anyone. He packs power in his punches and he will punch in bunches, putting everything into it. His punch technique is actually quite good. He just isn't defensively responsible when he's exchanging, and this is why he gets clipped so often with left hook counters when he's in the thick of it. He can overcommit on his right hand, leaving his feet out of position, and he's often unaware of when it isn't a good time to go. He has a habit of being stood a little too tall in the mid and close range, which is where he can be clipped by circular punches coming around the side that he simply doesn't see coming. Again, Paddy's actual punch technique isn't bad. He generates good torque through rotation, his shot selection is good, and his willingness to throw in combination can allow him to quickly overwhelm opponents. It's just he lacks positional awareness in terms of where he is in relation to his opponent and the cage. It is never a good idea to try and exchange off of the cage wall. In a boxing ring, we can lean against the ropes, which allow us more space. Against the cage wall, you're stationary and you can't go backwards anymore, and you pretty much become a punching bag. His understanding of his opponent's position isn't great, and he needs to become more aware of when his opponent has creeped inside of his stance and has him lined up for potential power punch. If someone is in a good stance and directly in front of you, they are ready to go. And this is why jabbing and faking are so important, as it disorganises the opponent's defence first whilst minimising their ability to counter. It helps a fighter to manage the distance. If this were a parallel universe and I was somehow Paddy Pimblett's trainer, the first thing I'd say is never lead with a rear hand uppercut, especially off of the cage wall. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe, and you can also follow me over on Patreon. There are extra videos over there. Pro Striking appreciates you more than watching Paddy Pimblett exchange with his chin in the air, giving absolutely zero fucks for his own safety.